I want to talk about how you can avoid the four most common health hazards this holiday season. Let's talk about what those are. Believe it or not, this is the time of year when the most people are admitted into the hospital for heart attacks and congestive heart failure. That surprises people. It's actually December 25th. Depression and anxiety go through the roof this time of year. Contrary to popular belief, it's not the time of year that's most common for suicides, but depression goes up. It's actually the spring. People tend to be more lethargic in the winter, and in the spring, when they start to get a little bit of energy, suicide goes up. Anxiety is really high this time of year, and weight gain. So let's unwrap that a little bit. So first of all, weight gain actually makes all of those other issues worse. When you eat bad food that causes inflammation in your body, it makes depression, anxiety, heart disease, everything else worse. So food is medicine or food is poison. And in the new cookbook, I really teach you how to do that, especially during the holidays. There's a whole holiday guide, how to enjoy the holidays, not suffer, how to enjoy the holidays and still stay healthy and not let it go, not just completely let yourself go. So, brain warriors don't take those months of November and December off. And if you've already gotten off track from Thanksgiving, it's okay. There's no failing. There's just falling. Just get back up. So weight gain leads to all other health problems like we just talked about. It makes everything else worse. And it continues. So people think they start these New Year's resolutions, only guess what? Most people give them up before the end of January. So we want you to break that cycle. And that's why this is not a 2-week program. It's a lifestyle. There's no gimmicks, and we're going to teach you how to do that. So one thing you can do during the holidays, make sure that you have a plan and that you have healthy snacks and eat before you go to holiday parties. So in the book, I talk about a very detailed plan along with some delicious recipes for things you can take with you to parties. You can be that example to other people and have great food with you when you go. But you've got to learn how to create this new attitude. If you don't know your why, you're never going to do your what. So we're going to talk about how to do that. And then heart attacks. Let's talk about heart attacks for a minute. Heart attacks and congestive heart failure, December 25th, #1 day of the year for admissions into the hospital. That seems a little crazy during a time of year that should be focused on gratitude, love, service, and family. And yet that's the time of year that people indulge, they overindulge, and they start this inflammation and they end up in the hospital. So think about that. And we want to help you refocus. So food is addictive, and it actually works in the same part of your brain that it's the pleasure centers, the same part of your brain that cocaine, heroin, morphine work on. It's also the same part of your brain that, love, where love and relationships sort of work, and they press on that pleasure center. And I don't know about you, but I don't want food working on the same part of my brain as my relationships, the love I have for my daughter, my husband, my mother. Food and relationships, food has no place being in that part of my brain. I don't want it having that much control over me. So break that addictive cycle. And don't get sick this holiday season. So depression, we just touched on that. Depression goes up dramatically over the holiday season. So more breakups happen in the 2 weeks before Christmas than any other time of year. It's kind of crazy. People start breaking up, breakups go up like crazy. Not on Christmas Day, but just before. So of course that leads to a lot of increases in depression and anxiety. And there's a lot of stress. A lot of people have lost loved ones, or they have other issues or PTSD or whatever other issues are causing that depression. The holidays aren't happy for everyone. So just know that, acknowledge it, know what's going on, and have a plan. But as you start to create mastery and learn mastery over your brain and body, which is what we talk about in the new books. Mastery is how we're going to teach you that. It's your mindset. It's how to assess where your trouble and your vulnerabilities are. Sustenance, that's the food of a warrior. How do you eat to win? Training, that's your daily habits. So you don't rise to the level of your expectations, you fall to the level of your training. And it's that daily training that makes a difference. Essence is turning your pain into purpose. We all have pain somewhere. If it's not our own pain, then it's pain from someone we love or have taken care of. So learning how to turn that into purpose is critical, especially during the holidays. In fact, for combating depression, one of the most effective ways that's ever been shown to help is to go volunteer. someone I love very dearly in my family who I'm helping through a really tough time right now is completely alone this Christmas. Now, of course, we're all going to be talking to her on the phone, so that's one of the tips, is to reach out. But one thing we told her, make sure you're connected to your church group. So things like Celebrate Recovery or other, just regular church services, but also Salvation Army. Go volunteer. Because when you do that, it actually increases oxytocin, which is your bonding chemical in your body that makes you feel better. So, and it makes you realize that for as bad as things might be for you, there's always somebody worse. And it just helps you heal when you do that. So that's one way to combat depression over the holidays. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to make it much, much worse. And just know that even when you don't feel like doing something, you don't have to take on a whole new plan at once. One tiny step at a time. Just put one foot in front of the other. Get up and walk to the end of your street and back. And then the next day, walk around the block or whatever, but one tiny step at a time. Drink a glass of water and then maybe add a cup of green tea. Sometimes that's all people can manage. And that's okay, because every time you do something positive, it's going to help you. I have people create a list of things that are super simple, like drinking a glass of water, making a phone call to someone who cares about you, your support system, your tribe, going for a walk. Make a list of like 10 things you can do and do one or two of them. And if you just do that, put one foot in front of the other, it's going to help. And anxiety. So anxiety goes up like crazy during this time of year, and it's sort of obvious why. All of the baking and the shopping. I don't know about you. I have a shopping disorder. I despise the mall with every fiber in my being. I hate going to the mall. I hate it normally. So now put the stress of the holidays and no parking spots and long lines, and it makes me psychotic. My husband sometimes says the only time I scare him is when I act like a girl. So I hate shopping. And I don't think that the holidays should be about gift giving, but I come from a huge family. So I need to blend in and, at least support, what everyone's doing. But a lot of us, in my close-knit circle of family, we've decided not to do that. Even my daughter felt the stress of the holidays, and she's like, can we do anything besides gift? And I was like, oh, hallelujah. She's 13 years old. So that was just, a huge blessing for me, because it's stressful for people, all the baking. So get together and do baking with other people. Like I know in our family, huge Lebanese family, and they get together and they have these cooking parties before. Now I'm going to tell you that you should bake something healthy, of course, because I have dozens of recipes for the holidays. I've got sugarless cookies and lemon bars and brownies and, all these things that you can make for the holidays that are delicious and not going to make you sick. But my daughter and I made a whole bunch of stuff for Thanksgiving, like 6 different dishes, and we took them over to Thanksgiving. So we can be that example and have our own food, and doing it together takes that stress off. Also, when you, like for me, online shopping. If I am going to buy something, it's going to be online shopping. I think that was the best thing ever created. So I like to find ways to decrease my stress in that sense. And I know this time of year, just the exorbitant amount of money that people spend, even if you aren't financially, strapped, it's hard. It's just hard. And now if you are on a crazy tight budget, it's impossible. So I think that coming up with alternate plans is a really good idea. So, doing gift exchanges where only you buy for one person. I mean, in our family is huge. So that's often what we do. We do a gift exchange. You don't buy for everybody. You buy for one person. Or find something other than gifts, something meaningful. So I've started to plant that seed and create that tradition with my daughter now. She actually, my favorite things from her are when she either paints me a picture or she writes me these beautiful things, handwritten, and I can frame them. And so that is my favorite gift from her. And if you create those traditions early, it just becomes very special. So I just think finding ways to decrease the stress of that budgeting is really important. And also drop the perfectionism. I don't know about you, but I just can't, with as busy as we are, the idea of making my house perfect during the holidays, it's just not going to happen. So if people are expecting that, they need to go to one of our other family members' houses, because I can't deal with that. So that takes a lot of pressure off of me. And just knowing that up front and not trying to create that perfect atmosphere is, I think, very, very helpful. But if you go in knowing that, it can be hugely helpful in decreasing your anxiety right up front. So that's really just touching on a few ways that you can hopefully help minimize your risks of some of the foremost common health hazards of the holidays. And of course, I mean, I'm biased because I think we wrote these amazing books, The Brain Warrior's Way and The Brain Warrior's Way Cookbook. We would love to help you give the gift of health this holiday season. And it's something you can share with your entire family. Have a wonderful day.